Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leia Ernest.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a bolder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
A very good morning, everyone tuned in to Greyhound Gossip this Monday, and a very good morning to you, Peter O'Neill. How bloody good is greyhound racing?
Yeah, got a little bit excited, didn't I? I didn't think anyone would be listening. Race number 11 there on Saturday night, Leia. But yeah, very exciting as you've experienced with the ownership of greyhound racing, and we've discussed it before. You can have a bet on a greyhound or a thoroughbred or harness horse, but the difference of being an owner and the excitement of it was outstanding. And Tom Percy, KC, he was out there trackside and handing out his books, the Curate's Egg book. So anyone that was on course there on Saturday night, so a few people went home with those, which was pretty exciting for them, and I'm sure they'll enjoy the read.
Yes, and it was really nice having Tom on last week. So if listeners, you missed having a chat with Tom last week, definitely head on to Greyhound Gossip Podcast on Apple, Spotify. We had a chat to him in regards to a Curate's Egg. Big weekend of racing, Pete, as well. Not only a win for you, but we had the Group 2 WA Oaks final.
Yeah, and prior to that, on Friday, of course, a good program at Cannington, and also the Sandown Cup, where Jeff Britton defeated his brother Robert, with Corder defeating First Pick in the rich Sandown Cup there on Friday night. But yeah, all eyes were on Saturday night, and what a night it was for the Shayne train. Shayne Williams winning treble, and the feature was the Group 2 WA Oaks. Rip and Grace came from last.
The final of the Group 2 Oaks, and they're ready. Racing, jumping quickly on the inside, Bell McBlazer also showing speed. In the middle was Kanyamir, driving across was Tweak Freak, also West on Blossom. One came down, flying Frida fell down the back straight, and Bell McBlazer found the top. Up on the inside was Kanyamir, making ground. West on Blossom out wide, then followed by Rip and Grace, who runs on. Well back behind them, Tweak Freak, Disco Daisy, and also Whatever Shorty off the back though. Leader is Bell McBlazer, the outside, West on Blossom up on the inside. Here comes Grace, Rip and Grace up on the inside, scrapes the Dulux, wins the Oaks. Second goes to Bell McBlazer, West on.
Yes, and a winning Quinella there for trainer Shayne Williams. Shayne joins us on the show this morning. Shayne, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are we today?
Fantastic, and congratulations on the win at Quinella with kennelmate Bell McBlazer running second.
Yeah, thanks very much, Leia. It was a night that we'll never forget, that's for sure. We got a lot of luck on the night, and it was we flat out getting a better night than that ever again, to be honest.
Oh, it was fantastic, and it was the first time she ever drew box 5. Were you concerned going into the final with that draw?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned. I guess it's better than 8 for her. She's been drawn 8, and she can. As soon as she gets to the fence, that's when she'll do her best. So obviously 5 is better than 8, but you always got to hold your breath with her over the 500 metres. She gets back, and she did get a lucky run through at the first turn, but she's just racing in really good form at the moment, and her confidence levels are sky high, higher than mine actually.
Well, 29.89 Rip and Grace, a length and a half off her PB, and you did actually dedicate a lovely post to Gemma and Jay on Facebook. You got very lucky with those two ladies, didn't you?
Yeah, I certainly did. They're rock stars, and I think at the moment, Leia, we're just all having a good time in the kennel. We're just up and about and happy, and I think it sort of goes back to the dogs, you know. They're getting that flow effect on, I think. So, I'm lucky to have them, and, they're absolute rock stars. Couldn't do it without them, that's for sure.
And an emotional weekend for owner Cheryl Smith as well, Shayne.
Yeah, she highs and lows for Cheryl. She lost her mother on Saturday morning, so Sunday morning. She was up and about with the dog winning on Saturday night, but then she lost her mother on Sunday morning, so condolences go out to them.
Yeah, condolences to the Smith family. A very good win. Punters read it right. She was well supported, Rip and Grace, there on Saturday night, and punters read it right with that early trouble going into that first corner. As I mentioned, she was last early, but she found the fence and has been able to run on really strongly. It was a really strong win, and obviously you've known how strong she is by stepping her up to the Galaxy and also the Miata earlier in the year.
Yeah, Pete, we ever since she come through pre-training, she always showed that strength, and I think it took her about 15 or 20 starts to work out what it was all about. She wouldn't go around dogs there for a while. She would just always hunt the rail, and sort of the last 5 to 10 starts, she's sort of working it out. She's going around dogs, she's coming between dogs, and obviously she's going to be better when we get her up over more distance. But after the Miata final, I just wanted to give her a good little break and freshen her up for this race, because the Oaks and Derbies, you only get one crack at them. You obviously can't go in them next year. And I just thought back to her own age, and obviously having that experience of 20 or 30 starts under her belt. You know, she was racing dogs that only had 6 and 7 starts, so that's always going to be a benefit in her favour. But, obviously we set up a plan and it came off. So I was really happy with the bitch in the one as well. She had a really good week at home. I was telling anyone that would listen, she would run a really good race. She just, I don't know, that win last week just give her a heap of confidence, and she was up on her toes. And, you know, if you take Rip and Grace out, she probably win, or she does win the Oaks. So she's gone super as well. So we're proud of her as well.
The nominations have closed for the Preludes of the Brisbane Cup for this Thursday. There's 4 weeks of the Preludes, good prize money on offer, and John Brasch will be joining us shortly. Are you taking her across? Has she been nominated, Rip and Grace, and is she the only one that's going across to Queensland?
Yeah, she's flying out tomorrow to Brisbane, and she's not going to race this week, Pete, because I won't put her in without giving her a trial. It's not the right thing to do by the dog, so she'll trial, I think, before the first race on Thursday night, just over 500. And then we're going to look at probably giving her a few starts over the 6, and then her main aim is the Queensland Cup over 7-10, which is not for another 3 or 4 weeks, but I'm just going to send her over there to Tommy Savellis and Jetta Cutlack, and I might go over there once or twice, just depending on how she's travelling, and yeah, just keep an eye on her, and looking forward to it, because I've been wanting to travel with her for a while, and I think now's the time. She's come through the Oaks really good, pulled up well, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do over the East Coast.
Do you think she's lacking that little bit of class over the shorter journey, and that's why you're stepping her up to the 700?
Oh, I think she's more of a chance to get knocked around a bit over the 500. She got a bit lucky on Saturday night. There was a lot of speed in the race, and she found the rail straight away. But when you're up against your own age and sex, it sort of comes back, it levels out a bit. So there's some really fast dogs over there over 500 metres. I don't think we can give them a start and a beating. But, look, she's been really good, Pete. She's run 4th in the Galaxy and 2nd in the Miata. She come from behind some really good dogs in the Miata. Obviously, first pick was one of them, and she ran 2nd in the Sandown Cup. So, to me, that's promising for her going forward. And, 710 at Albion Park, it's probably a little bit easier than the 715. I think the 700 is real stretch for her. She's not a genuine stayer, but that's why we've sort of looked after her when she's had them 700s, and just give her a bit of a break after she's had them heat and final over 700. So, but now she's a bit older, a bit more mature. She should really start to develop into a nice dog, Pete. I really, it's funny, if you trial her by herself over 500 at Kennington, she runs 29.50. So it's just, get picking her way through the traffic is always difficult for her. But I don't think I've sent a dog away as good as her since I've been in Perth. So yeah, I can't wait to see what she does over there.
All right, we wish you all the best of luck with her in Queensland. Ripon Tomahawk was a nice win. He's got a really good record from box number 1, but I know you had a big smile after winning the Group 2 WA Oaks, but I reckon you had a bigger smile on your dial after you defeated the apprentice, Jay Jacobson, with Jamie Keeping in the final leg of the quaddie.
I was one of them nights, so we had a lot of luck. Obviously, Tomahawk had a bit of luck as well, and obviously Grace, but it was actually quite funny. He was sitting there, and I yelled out, shut the door, and as soon as I said that, she sort of come back down on Jay's dog, and look, Jay's done a terrific job with her dog. She's just starting to work out what greyhound training is all about, Pete, and that's frustrating, as we heard that on Saturday night after the last, but she'll work him out. He's only young, so the more starts he gets under his belt, the better he'll be, but she was a little bit frustrated after that race, Pete, but no doubt Jamie's one of her favourites as well, so she would have been happy to see her win.
I didn't think she could hear me when she's walking on the track as a handler, but and I've always loved Jay. She's one of my favourites, but I think I might have seen the bird sent up to the commentary box after my comments.
I tell you what, she heard you. You're probably glad you couldn't hear her back, but I guess you did after the laugh. She's a good sport, and it's all in good fun, and Obviously, yeah, she obviously said, you know, tonight you've won everything. You couldn't even let me win a novice, you know. So, but she's good, and both the girls are good. Obviously, Jay's been with me forever, to be honest, and Gemma's just come on board the last sort of 6 months, and like I said, I'm very lucky. They're superstars, and they treat the dogs so well, and that's what it's all about, Pete. I think they're responding to that, and they're racing well. The kennel's going good.
Good luck with Rip and Grace up in Queensland. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. And, Pete, how bloody good's greyhound racing?
It's very good. It's very, very good indeed. Loving it. That's Shayne Williams. He's off to Queensland with Rip and Grace, the Group 2 WA Oaks winner. Let's head to Queensland. And the number one caller in Queensland at Albion Park is John Brasch, and he's been good enough to give of his time this morning. John, good morning. Peter O'Neill and also Leia Ernest with you. You must be excited with the rich prize money that's on offer that you're calling at the moment, and there's some really talented chasers going around last Thursday and heading forward as well.
Good morning to you, Pete and Leia. Yes, the big injection of prize money into the Greyhound Winter Carnival this year, Pete, sees at the culmination of it, at the end on July 7, a $1 million race with $650,000 going to Winning Connections in the Brisbane Cup this year at Group 1 level. So we look forward to that in a few weeks' time, but we'll have some outstanding racing in the meantime, headed up by this Thursday night. We've got the Flying Amy Classic, also the Carnival Chase, and on Wednesday it pretty much starts with the heats of the Dashing Corsair over the 710 metres. So there are plenty of feature races on from this week until that date in July 7 when it all culminates for the Brisbane Cup.
It is a huge carnival indeed, John. And before we get into the upcoming races, it was a big Thursday night of chasing at Albion Park, and you tipped 7 out of the 12 winners on the card on Thursday.
Oh, did I, Leia?
You did.
Yeah, no, it was a good night there on Thursday night, and it was Q-Goal night, and this is another initiative that we started back in the summer, and the Racing Queensland, together with the Brisbane Club, put $250,000 into races for locally bred greyhounds of all classes. So there was maiden novices, there were restricted win races for heats over the last couple of weeks, and it all culminated in 8 finals there on Thursday night for all the different grades, all the different classes. A lot of the races were worth $20,000. The 2 features were worth $40,000. So again, another great initiative for the locally bred greyhounds.
It is fantastic, and I was invested in one of the races. Well, I used to be. My old greyhound, a Panama Pepper, that I no longer have any shares in, but he won the first, and you did tip him. He ran a really, really quick run.
You weren't allowed to keep a share in him.
No, I had to let him go, but he's done well over there.
He certainly has. He had raced here before, and he certainly got the night underway. And I commended Racing Queensland by putting such a prestigious race on as the first race, our main class free-for-all race on the program as race number 1. So it was a taste of things to come on Thursday night. And I said to them, why don't they do that every week? And it'll crescendo into the feature races. And going back to Panama Pepper, yes, he was absolutely enormous there Thursday night under the care of our master trainer, Tony Brett, for the carnival. And he went straight to the lead and set up the tone for the night and ran 29.56, and that's just a smidgen outside the track record held by Seneca at 29.38. So he's certainly on song for the carnival.
He's going to be exciting to keep following him. And a greyhound that we saw recently during our Sandgroper slot race series, John, is Victor Damien, and the South Australian, who has a big record and a big following right the way around Australia. He'll be heading up this week.
Yeah, well, he won the feature race at Adelaide on Thursday night, and apparently he was on the road on Saturday, and he'll be having his first look around Albion Park later today. There's been some special trials put on pretty much every day, Pete, for our interstate greyhounds that are coming, and by goodness, there are many, many greyhounds coming from interstate to take on the local brigade this year, and they have put these special trials on, and he will be trialling and having his first look around Albion Park after kenneling tonight. So it augurs well for him to line up in the heats of the Flying Amy there on Thursday night.
Will Crumble Manelli be going around? And have you seen a quicker first split? I think he went 5.51 on the times that you sent through to me. He stopped the clock at 30 and 19, so he's got some ground to improve on. But that was a really slick first section, as we've seen him do over here.
Yes, yeah, that's one of the quickest. I think the record first split is around 5.42, something like that. So he wasn't far off that first split record. So, yes, if he can get out of the box like he normally does, he'll be very hard to beat around Albion Park.
Will he be going in? Do you know whether the nominations have closed already? Have you seen him in the nominations this week?
I haven't seen a list of the nominations, but I was talking to one of the graders last night, and he said that we may get anything up to 8 heats of the Flying Amy. So basically it'll be winners only if they get the 8 heats this Thursday night. The fields will come out later today. As I said, they've got the heats of the Flying Amy, heats of the Carnival Chase over the 600 metres, and he said they're probably going to be at least 3, maybe 4 heats of them. And there are the 12 races, Peter, which we run every week. And also we've got programmed, leading up to the Brisbane Cup, Prelude starting this Thursday night for $24,000 in total prize money, first $16,000. And that's one of the conditions of the $1 million Brisbane Cup this year, that a greyhound must have had a race start over 500 metres or more at Albion Park before its nomination will be accepted for the Brisbane Cup. So the club have put on 4 weeks of prelude racing leading up to the heats of the Brisbane Cup. But if we get 8 heats of the Flying Amy, perhaps 4 heats of the Carnival Cup, where do the Brisbane Cup preludes go? So that's another problem that we may have to sort out for Thursday night. But I just haven't been in contact with the graders at this stage this morning to find out how many races that we got, but fields will come out later today. Another solution was that they may have to run preludes on Wednesday instead of Thursday. So we've got augurs of riches there coming left, right and centre for this prize money, and we may not have enough races to cater for the greyhounds that want to race on Thursday night.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be able to work it out, and that's what happens when you put the big prize money on offer. Just before I go to the State of Origin series and the squads have been announced, you must be excited about calling your first ever $1 million race?
Very much so, Peter. As a race broadcaster, I think we've discussed this before, that you lift for the feature races with the feature greyhounds that come from interstate, and yes, very much looking forward to July 7 and calling that $1 million race. But as they say, Pete, you've got to treat every race as the same. Not that it's a $1 million race, but as a race broadcaster, you can't help getting that excited with the excitement of those Group 1 races.
It is very exciting, John, and the fact that the Brisbane Carnival as well has just been successful throughout the years. How many years have you been calling the Carnival?
Well, I took over from Paul Dolan in 2018, September 2018, so I've done all the feature races in Queensland since 2018. That's when basically I took over broadcasting there at the Premier Track at Albion Park.
When did you start calling, John? And my next question is going to be Capella Bar straight racing, which started up in Queensland, and this year there'll be a national series in Melbourne for straight racing, which we're looking forward to.
Yes, Peter, and speaking of Capella Bar, my greyhound career started at Capella Bar, the straight track, back in 1983 when I was in grade 10 at school. Gary Keep was our journalist for the Courier Mail out here, and he used to write the Greyhounds and Harness, and I was practicing my broadcasting of the harness meetings on a Saturday night at Albion Park in a spare broadcast box, and one night Gary came in and said to me, would I be interested in doing some greyhound calling? And his brother John was the administrator of Capella Bar at the time, and one of the other broadcasters was looking to move on, and I went down and spoke with John and had a couple of practice calls, and that's pretty much where it all started for me. I took over shortly after that at the end of 1983 at Capella Bar, and was there until about 1987 when I started with Radio 4BC at the time, had to get that away, but then made the return to Capella Bar in 2010. I've been there ever since. And when TAB racing started in 2018, that was another thing that I thought would never, ever happen. Capalaba was always non-TAB, but in 2018, they turned Capalaba into a TAB meeting, and it's been very, very successful ever since.
Did you ever think you'd see a national series where states would be competing against each other in straight racing?
Peter, many, many years ago, we did run the National Straight Track Championship, and Capalaba did host that, but it was pretty much between Queensland and New South Wales, basically a state of origin series when they had the old Appin track and things like that. And I don't think Hills were ever involved, but we used to have that back in the 80s, the National Straight Track Championship, but it went by the wayside there for many, many years until it was pretty much brought back a few years ago, and now we have the 4 states involved, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia, and that series is now up to around about $70,000 or $80,000 in prize money. So it's certainly back on the calendar to stay, I would think.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's coming up in Melbourne in August. On the 15th of June, Thursday the 15th of June, we have the Showpiece State of Origin series. The squads have been announced. New South Wales won it last year, and didn't we all hear about that when Blues coach Terry Hill, he told everyone in the world...
Queensland won it last year, Pete.
Oh, did they? Okay. Queensland won it last year.
Yep.
2-2?
New South the year before. So I think it's 2 apiece after 4 years coming into this year.
Okay, so 2-2, and you've come out, as in the Queenslanders, have come up with some big names, including the Greyhound of the Year 2022 Greyhound of the Year Orchestrate, who will be headlining the Maroon squad.
Yeah, we haven't seen Orchestrate for a little while, but yes, it was announced Greyhound of the Year for last year and at a function back in March, and Tony Brett said the Greyhound is back in work and will be ready to go for the Greyhound Winter Carnival. So we haven't seen him race, or I think obviously he's been trialling, but I haven't heard any reports. But no doubt we'll see him over the next couple of weeks, and he headlines a strong representative for Queensland. But you're looking through the names of greyhounds coming through in New South Wales in the sprinters. You've got She's a Pearl, Simply Limelight, just to name a few. And they're going to have a strong squad as well. So it augurs well for another exciting head-to-head, Greyhound versus Greyhound, and in 2023. And again, there's some big prize money on offer for our State of Origin series this year. The sprint race is up to $150,000 with $100 to the winner. Then we have the distance; it's worth $100,000 to the winner. And to round it out on the same night, we have a match race with 2 dogs, and it's worth $60,000 overall with $50,000 to the winner. And they're also running a regional origin between Ipswich and Grafton, and that will also be run on the night as well. And that prize money is around $15,000. So the origin has been building again for the last couple of years, and we look forward to that again, Queensland versus New South Wales in 2023.
Yeah, well, I hope you can get to see She's a Pearl. We couldn't get her over here to WA, but I hope you get to see her up there in Queensland. And if she represents New South Wales, it's going to make it a very, very interesting series. John, enjoy the carnival. Why wouldn't you be, with all the prize money that's on offer at the moment and the great greyhounds from around Australia, including Western Australia, that are heading up to Queensland? We appreciate your time this morning.
And no doubt, any time a WA greyhound wins, Pete, I'll get a text message straight away from one P. O'Neill.
Definitely. Did you hear my call on Saturday night? Had a greyhound that won.
I certainly did. Very well done.
Thank you. It's exciting, isn't it? Love greyhound racing. Love listening to you as well, Johnny. We'll talk to you again soon. The right sport to be in and the right time to be in, Pete. Good on you. John Brasch joining us on Greyhound Gossip on this Monday morning. We have greyhound racing today coming in from Northam. The first of 12 lag gets underway at 1:32. So we'll be around about 1:15 today. We'll be taking a look at the program up there at Northam.
Looking forward to it, Pete, and we'll be joining you for that preview at Northam. Have a wonderful drive to the Northam track, and we'll chat to you soon.
Good on you. Have a good day.